So basically, this is the way to anchor an element to another known element, regardless of it being dynamic or not. So the last video I made, I talked about jQuery selectors and how to use it to locate dynamic elements on a web page. Today I'm going to be building upon that knowledge. For those of you who are familiar with other RPA tools like UiPath, there's a method of selecting selectors that makes use of anchoring. For those of you who are not familiar with UiPath, anchoring basically is um, selecting a selector based on a fixed element close to it. Take, for example, this particular selector for the input field. It is anchored to this label, role in company. Same for the phone number, it is anchored to the label phone number. So what it means is if I reload this page, that particular element here would always be anchored to the phone number, regardless of how it changes. So UiPath, with the use of anchors, links these two elements or selectors together. Now, Power Automate Desktop does not have such a function, but we did find a way around it, as I explained in my last video, where I used a custom selector built on the knowledge of how jQuery syntax is being written. And from what we saw, it worked quite well. However, during the week, I came across a website that was kind of tricky to work with. The jQuery syntax, as I had written it like this, worked well, but it was clumsy to write and it took quite a lot of time. And I could not help but think how easy it would have been using UiPath to just select an anchor and select the elements and just go ahead with it. So I researched on how to do something similar with Power Automate Desktop, and I'm going to be showing you what I came up with. Now, let me select an element on the website. Still true. Why? Okay, just going to be deleting this since I don't need it now. So this UI element selected is for, let me test it. Okay, so this UI element selected is for the ruling company. Now, my intention is to anchor the input element to the label ruling company. And to do that, in a way, we would have to find we'll have to find and study how the element looks like. So if we inspect the page, okay, let me just increase this. So if we inspect the page, um, as I explained in my last video, we have to know what we are looking for and the unique elements to that particular item we are looking for. So this is the div that contains all the elements for that particular input. So this is the div, it has a label and it has an input field, and this is the close of the div. Yeah. So we're going to find a way to write a jQuery selector that would anchor the particular inputs to the label. So whenever the bot is working on the page and it wants to input the ruling company, it would first find the label, then whatever input comes after it, that would be the UI element is going to select. So how are we going to do that? Stay open it. Okay. So first thing, take a look at W3 School's documentation for jQuery. Yeah. So an anchor basically is a sibling to an element. And with that knowledge, we know that the label and the input are both siblings to each other enclosed in one div. So we can do something similar to this, where we would say div. Now this would find all the divs in the website, but we want it to find a div that has a label, rolling company. Now this rolling company, like I said, would be the anchor to the particular input element we're looking for. So it would be div label. Now the text we want to anchor it to would be written as contains double quotes role in company. So let's test this. It was able to find the label we're looking for. Now, like I said, the label is not exactly what we want to use to input a role in company. It's actually just to serve as an anchor. So in order to do that, we would go back to the jQuery documentation, and if you see here, it says to find a sibling, use a tilde symbol. So that would be, and so tilde input. Now let's come back here and inspect the input element. So this is the label and this is the input. So it's just going to be the input that is a sibling to a label that contains role in company. So if we test this, we have gotten the input itself. So basically, this is the way to anchor an element to another known element, regardless of it being dynamic or not. If we reload the page to change the position of that particular element and we test it, it should still find it. It does. So that's it. So you can expand on this knowledge and find out how it will suit you or solve any issue you come across. Thank you.